Hey, how you guys doing? Twice in one day. Twice in one day. I figured I did the show earlier today for people east of me, Europe, Africa, Asia. So I figured now I'd deal with the North American audience and people who are up all night in Europe, perhaps. So, welcome to the stream. I'm Uncle Steph. You don't know who I am. So, we're going to talk about freelancing in 2023, 24. What do I see coming there in that regard? What you should expect, what the opportunities are, how you're going to position yourself in that regard. And then we'll do a little bit of Q&A. So yeah, kind of old school streaming, you know, old school live. Hey, how are you, Kevin? How are you? From Lakeland, Florida. Very cool. I'll be visiting Florida within the next few months. Actually, I'm going to be spending several months in Florida this winter. Get away from the cold. Greetings from Saratoga, New York. Hey, Marquise American. Cheers. Welcome, guys. Thanks for joining the stream. Let me know if you can hear me clearly, by the way. Ruby. Let me know. And then we'll jump into the subject. I'll wait for a few more people to get on. 2 streams. Hey, Matthew, how are you, man? Cheers, long time. Yeah, I had a chai latte with oat milk, and my energy is jacking. So I figure I'll do 2 lives today. Why not? Why not? Small group so far. I'm sure people will start piling on. Get back to the old. I miss doing the live shows, you know. I enjoy doing these live shows. Now I got a little bit of energy back. You know, I'm able to do some live shows. Not coffee. This is tea. So let me know. Can you hear me? Cheer, Ruby. Sound. Please let me know if you can hear me or not. Random coding channel. Hey, Steph, I'm doing your courses on Web Studio. Why is there no progress bar? There is a progress bar. Which course are you doing? There is definitely a progress bar as you go through the material. That's weird that you don't see it. It's on, but the progress is tracked by the quizzing that you do. Are you answering the questions and doing the code challenges? Daniel Belfield, hello from Southern California. Hey, man. Welcome to the stream. Code long and prosper. Yeah, Southern California. Where in Southern California are you, man? Let's see. Matthew says, my team launched our project, I assume you said. We spent the last year on. Hey, very, very cool. I remember you mentioned, how did the launch go, man? How did the launch go? 5-5. I can hear you. All right. Thanks, Kevin. All right. We got our San Diego. Rails. Sunny Athens, Greece. Yeah, Greece. I hear that my Greek friends tell me Greece is one of the most beautiful countries in the world. And based on the photos, I do not dispute that. Trent says, I just got my first free gig site on the web today. Very cool. The mentorship has been a godsend for my progress. Just wanted to say thanks. Hey, Trent, thanks for that. If you guys don't know, a shameless self-promotion, I do have a mentoring program at unclesteph.com. If you want to learn to become a developer in record time, and you want that mentorship and support from the ancient nerd, I characterize myself as the oldest developer in the world, but you never know. All right, so I assume everybody can hear me. Cool. So let me just jump into it. Launching is always rough, but good so far. Yeah, no kidding. When you launch any new product, you got to expect hiccups as you get into it. I have to fix some file paths for PHP mailer, but otherwise it's going great. Very cool. Yeah, with the PHP mailer, you may have to talk to your hosting company. They may block it by default. You may have to ask them to do some configs for you there. Yeah. So, okay. Short story. I'm gonna get into the subject. So, freelancing in 2023, 24. Yeah, it's always going to be viable, and if you're full stack, it opens up more opportunity. If you can throw in there a bit of web marketing setup for people, so you can help people, small companies, set up their social profiles, get them on social media, get those accounts hooked up to whatever web development that you do for them, web design you do for them. That's going to help as well. No question, there's a lot of opportunity in the freelance space in 24. There's pros and cons to freelancing versus having a full-time job. There's also contracting, which to me, there's a distinction between freelancing versus being a contractor. The big difference is that as a contractor, you're kind of just a temporary employee where you're brought into a structure, you're given a particular task, and they tell you exactly what you're going to do. Whereas if you are a freelancer, it's much more control on your part. You will often have total control over the project. You'll be deciding what gets done and how it gets done. Of course, you gotta A-OK this with the client. So I see a big distinction between contractor versus freelancer. I've done contract work before. It's a very different game in terms of your day-to-day, in terms of how you manage yourself, in terms of what happens. So there is that distinction. So with that said, freelancing is typically for small business work. You're going to be working for a small business somewhere as a freelancer. Medium, large companies will deal with contractors where you might work within the context of their team under somebody who assigns works to you, whereas a freelancer, you're sort of in charge of making the whole thing happen, typically. And you probably be a solo worker. Maybe you'll bring in some support to help you. Maybe you're good at back end, and you bring in somebody who's good at the front end for you. So, to be a successful freelancer, as always, next year, and forward, and going forward, you will have to have good interpersonal skills unless you're connected up really well. You're going to need to be able to communicate with people effectively. You're going to have to understand how to manage clients properly. You're going to have to understand how to manage the projects properly. What really determines at the end of the day whether a freelance project is successful is how the client perceives the project's end. And that is largely based on how you set up the contract at the get-go, how you set up expectations. The whole point of the contract, by the way, the whole point of the contract is not to be able to use it to sue or to protect yourself from suing. That's a part of it, though. It's really more about establishing an expectation in terms of what the working relationship will be between you and the contractor. That's really what it is about. So how you set that up from inception at the very beginning is going to play a big role as to whether or not the contract ends with everybody happy. So be mindful of that, So another thing, so you got, again, you can do contract work as a front-end dev, but really when you are freelancing, it's much more about having a broader set of skill sets, a more eclectic skill set. So a little bit of front-end, so back-end, understanding things like content management systems. WordPress will probably be out there quite a bit. Being able to integrate with social media, do some little SEO as well. It's not that complex, right? But it's a broad range of skills. And now, coming into 2024, I think being able to understand the AI solutions that are out there, the AI options that you may be able to implement for some small business, put that into place for them. Doesn't mean you have to be an AI programmer, but just use some tool that's out there. I think there might be some opportunity there as well. As Matthew says, leverage tools like Shopify, MailerLite, MailChimp, WordPress, and take STEF'S freelance course. Yeah, I appreciate that. Exactly. These are all viable tools. A freelancer has to have a broader range of skills, whereas a contractor may be more specialized. You may be hired as a contractor, to do React, right? And that's all you need to know. To do React, we need a 6-month job, React JS position. That's what you're going to do is just do React, and they bring you in, they check you out, make sure you know what you're doing, and then you're just going to work on React. It's a narrow set of skills. It's cool. It's more specialized, whereas a general freelance contractor, or a freelancer rather, has a more broad set of skills. So which one is best? It really depends on your personality type. Do you like the idea of just working on one technology within the context of a business, kind of as an employee, a pseudo-employee for months at a time? Or would you prefer having a broader set of things to do where you have a bunch of different jobs and a bunch of different things that you would do on a project? It might be more interesting for you that way. I don't know. So we'll see. Yeah, Matthew brings up another good point here. PHP is king of freelance. Yeah. One of the reasons in my courses, whether it be the mentoring program or the self-paced or your own solo learning courses, is I teach PHP. Why? Do I think PHP is the best thing since sliced bread? No. It's because it's just so widely used, especially in freelance. It's hugely important. In terms of server-side programming languages in the freelance space, in the small business space, nothing beats PHP in terms of market share. It's not even close, for freelance. So yeah. How many? We're in a small group today. Yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate that, Matthew. Yeah, please give me some thumbs up so the Google algorithm knows that this is the best bokeh game in town. Look at that bokeh hand. It's amazing. So let me take a little break. I'm going to answer a few questions. How many minutes are we in? Okay, only 12 minutes. So we just started. And we'll answer some questions. But let me just give you my usual bits. I used to do my books of the day. I'm going to start bringing up some content, by the way, on AI opportunities out there. I've been researching it a little bit, especially in the context of freelance and even jobs. Like there's this job in AI called prompt engineer. Now the prompt, they're talking about the console, right? You open up the prompt to enter in commands into the prompt. So when you're communicating with a lot of these AIs, you're sending it text commands and you're getting output. So ChatGPT is the most famous, of course. There are now jobs out there, I'm going to have a video on this soon, on prompt engineers. They're being hired. The companies are looking for them, these people, and they pay a lot of money. Some prompt engineers are making $300,000 US, starting. So what are the skills of a prompt engineer? They're not technical. They're logical skills, they're domain knowledge, specific skills, communication skills is a big part of it. You have to be able to concisely and properly communicate with the AI, with the LLM, the learning language model, to get it to produce output. So that's something to consider. Anyway, let me just jump into this. Why did I bring that up? Because of this book. Believe it or not, this book is going to give you some insight into how humans think. Is this going to focus? Come on. Okay, here it is. The Naked Ape. You can get this book on Amazon for probably like $1. There's links below. This book is a fascinating book. I got this book when I was like 14 years old. Look, even all the pages are yellow. I kept it from that time. And it's these two zoologists who studied humans the way they would study monkeys. And when you watch them, when you read about how they analyze humans like they did monkeys, it gives you tremendous insight into humans and how we are. And believe it or not, that insight is going to help you become a better prompt engineer and communicator. Okay, my autofocus is sucking right now, but what are you going to do? So that's one of my recommended books, Naked Ape, link below. If you're a total beginner to web design starts here with Uncle Steph. So this is my book. You can still get it on Amazon. I have to reset my autofocus settings. Anyway, web design start here. This is total beginner book if you want it. It's a few years old. It's like 5 years, 6, 7 years old, but still 100% everything I teach in here is 100% applicable today. This is for total beginners if you want to learn the fundamentals of HTML, CSS. It's not a replacement for my courses, but you can learn a lot from that. Finally, if you're already a coder and you want to level up your game, you haven't done it yet, get into refactoring. There's 2 editions. This is the Java version, my book from the 1990s. And there's a JavaScript version of this book as well. This is one of the key books in development that every developer should get once they've covered the fundamentals. This is going to teach you how to clean up your code, how to write better code. Again, links below. This is like one of the OG books from the day. I wish my autofocus is messing up on me today. There you go. Those are the book recommendations. All right, let's see what we got here for some Q&A. All right, Oxnard, California. Very cool. Greetings from Nigeria. Thank you. I appreciate that. I would like to visit Nigeria one day. Steph Camp is the best way to get into tech, UncleSteph.com. I appreciate that, Matthew. Yeah, Matthew actually is, he did the program and he's a full-time developer now. Hello, sir. You teaching coding? Yes, I do. Check links below. I have courses that you can learn on your own with my platform. And I also have a mentoring program / bootcamp you can check out as well. I actually didn't know that. Thanks for the pointer. All right, cool. Greetings from the Netherlands. Hey, greetings. Code long and profit, everybody. In the construction world, I can hire a sub to help. If I have too much meat on the bone, is there a possibility to fill that kind of freelance role? Yes, of course. That happens all the time. So I have a site, Studioweb.com. I registered that domain in 1998. And that was the name I took on for my web development studio, Studioweb, back in those days. And I said, I'll call it Studioweb. Before I used to go under a different name. Anyway, now it's an educational platform. So yes, when you start building up your freelance client base, ideally you want to have 10, 15 clients on a rotation, because client 1 will start working on a project and then they're going to delay on getting you some material, and then you start working on client 2 and 3 and 4, and then they disappear for 6 months after you finish the initial work, and then you work on clients 4, 5, and 6, and so on. Then there's a rotation that way. So at some point, you're going to have an overload of work, so you bring in some support talent. So what I did initially, instead of hiring people full-time, I would just contact somebody I knew who was really good at something that I didn't want to do. And I say, hey, can you build this aspect for me? And he said, yeah, sure, no problem. How much? How many hours? Okay, they give me their estimate. They would basically contract to me or freelance to me, if that's the way of putting it. And I would absorb that into my cost, and so I would deliver the whole project to the client. So my support staff, my support freelancers who would work for me, they had no contact with the client, but they made it possible for me to take on more and more projects that I couldn't have done otherwise on my own. But later on, then I started hiring people full-time. Is contracting a better way to break into the field? It's a way, depends what you want to do. Well, one of the things I have people do in the mentoring program is say, once you finish the foundations, you build your portfolio site, then you go out there and you do 2 to 3 small projects for a local small business, nonprofit or something for free, just to develop some experience and skill. And then you can leverage that into a full freelance business, or you could get a job with that. It's all possible. Appreciate the thumbs, everybody. We have 80 people on board almost. If you can give me a thumbs, I would appreciate that. It's good for the Google algorithms. Anthony says, Stefan, I love your mentorship program. All right, I appreciate that. Thanks. I'm glad you like it. Cool. I'll be adding to it, by the way. If you don't know, I've been under the weather with a mild but persistent illness for the last year almost. But it's gone. It's pretty much gone. So that's good. I'm out of it. So the energy is coming back. I'm starting to lift weights and do push-ups again and stuff. And I'm becoming more strict with my diet again. When you get old like me, when you hit my age, 169, you become more food sensitive, and you have to be very careful about what you consume and what you don't consume. It affects you. But anyway, I got some more energy, so I'm going to be adding new stuff to the mentorship program. The whole idea of the mentorship program is to turn you guys into pro developers as quickly as possible. I'm transferring my decades of experience to you guys. That's the whole idea. And so, for example, I plan on putting in some updated material on how to navigate the AI space in this day and age as developers. How to navigate it, what to do with it, how can you work with it, where it could be advantageous to you. As an example, one thing I do. Other things, training on freelancing, training on finance, all this kind of stuff is very important. So it's based on coding and development, the program, but really I'm just transferring my life's experience to you. I even get into diet, nutrition, everything I've learned about that. Leverage tools like Shopify, we got that one. Dealing with SEO is a nightmare. Well, really? Yeah, well, it depends. Again, there's ways to set that up properly. What do you think is the best way to price your services, landing page, 5-page website, or blog, etc., if you only completed one project? I don't know HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, as well as Bootstrap, by the way. Well, one of the things you got to do, what you should do, it's not expensive. Get my freelance course. I talk about all of this, teach you how to price things, how to develop that skills. One of the things, there's 5 templates in that program, that course. And in that, if you're part of my mentoring program, it's in there. One of the things is a time tracker spreadsheet. And it teaches you how to track all the things that you do in a project. And a lot of people said once they've seen that time tracker spreadsheet, they really understand the process of running a freelance project quite well. So you want to check that out. That will give you the answer to your questions. Yeah. Cold Brew CS. Hey, man. How are you? Cheers. I feel like I'm facing discrimination getting a dev job, gotten to the point I want to build my own business but feel overwhelmed. How so? Tell me how so, Randolph. Well, listen, 2 of the most wealthy people I know who have private jets and so forth, they decided to start their own business because they couldn't find a job. They said after like 8 months, they couldn't find jobs. So they said, we're going to start our own business. And as a result, they became extremely wealthy, and they have a publicly traded business on the Canadian stock market, but nonetheless. They did quite well. Great content, by the way. No worries, man. Thanks. Is scripting the in for automation and future? Scripting in the in for automation in the future. I'm not sure what you mean. Well, for automation, scripting is definitely a part of it. But you also want to look at services like Zapier, and there's others out there. You want to look at low-code platforms, especially Zapier and those type of related services. They allow you to do automations through drag and drop and click. Hey, Sean, how are you, man? Have been here for a while, but glad to be on your live. Won't be for too long, but I will rewatch. Hey, cool, man. Well, thanks for joining the stream. Good to see you. I recognize you. WordPress and Shopify backend, PHP frontend, Vanilla.js or jQuery. High performance Shopify store, Hydrogen and React. These are all, yep. I think as a new coder at 50 years old, contractor might be the best fit for me. Sometimes less is more. I might need little bites, laugh out loud. Yeah, now, listen, if you can get your head wrapped around the contracting, you got some decent interpersonal skill, you can make bags of money as a freelancer. It's more hectic at first, or it's more difficult at first. It's a personality thing, whether you want to do that. But think about it this way. If an employer hires you and they're paying you $100,000 a year, the average developer makes, like, I think 96,000. When you first start, you might make 70,000, you might make 80,000, you might make 70, 60,000, depending where you live. I'm thinking North America. Anyway, but let's say they're paying you 100,000. That means you have to deliver at least $200,000 worth of value for them to make money, right? And that's the calculus. And I know I've done the math on this, and it breaks down to that. So if you can become a freelancer, then you can cut out that middleman, the employer, and do the contracts directly. So you see how you can make a lot more money. Back in the 90s, I was billing out at $200 the hour. That comes out to $400,000 a year if you're doing full-time work. I know people who are billing out at $300 the hour. This is back in the 90s and early 2000s. So that'd be, I don't know, in today's money, that'd be equivalent of like $300 and $400 an hour. So there's a lot of money to get into as a contractor or a freelancer. And at 50 years old, one of the options you have is experience. It's a big advantage. Ape has not changed much since the monkey. Hey, Stefan, long time, yeah. Mad Sour. I didn't say that right, I don't know. Have you heard of Worm GPT? No, I have not. I imagine it's something that will give freelancers plenty of headaches. I'm going to have to take a look at that. That's one of the things I got to start looking at. There's so many different AIs out there. It's starting to become a mess. So I'm going to start looking at different options, see what's going on. Greetings from London. Greetings. Uncle, if I buy your bootcamp, would I need your individual courses as well? No. The bootcamp has all my individual courses and much, much more. That's the advantage of the bootcamp. And once you join the bootcamp, you have access to all my material for as long as you need. No limits. That's the advantage. So yeah, you don't need to buy anything else. If you get my bootcamp, you don't need anything else. You'll be fine. I maintained a WordPress site for 6 years. I learned HTML and CSS, and now on month 9 of JavaScript at Matthew Smith. Thanks so much. I needed that. Cool. What do you think about Clojure being the highest paid programming language? Should we learn it? Don't chase the money, because the money you earn as a developer has much more to do with your skill as a developer rather than what language you use. Don't chase the money. Chase what you like to do, because you may like Clojure programming, you may not. So check it out, see if you like that kind of development. But before you start chasing high-end skills, get your basics done. Refactoring is a huge skill. He's making reference to this book. I'm working in corporate now, and I'm having to refactor legacy code with 500-line functions. Wow. One file alone has 4,000 lines. There you go. Refactoring, key skill. Learn it. Links below. Yeah. Jesse James. Hey, man. No, you're welcome. You're welcome. Here we go. I started this journey unsure of what to expect, but something has caught my attention. Do you know people who are successful affiliate marketers? That is, there are successful affiliate marketers, but that is generally a race to the bottom. You have to have a very strong social media game to be a successful affiliate marketer. Yeah, that's what I say about that. People do make money with that, but you're more likely to make a lot more money as a developer. But you can still make money as an affiliate marketer. As a young university student, what can I do to be taken more seriously and have an edge over others when trying to sell my services? I have a very nice portfolio. A very, very nice portfolio. Hey, Steph, I'm glad to see you're doing well. Well, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Cool. Pablo Messier. I hope everything is good. Hi, Mr. Stefan. When we apply for jobs, We must attach our portfolio project in the deployed version or source code. Is that a question? I'm not sure. Open an IPA for Stefan. There we go. Yeah, I love IPAs, but I'm on the wagon, perma wagon right now. I had a bit of I had an IPA like a month ago. For people who don't know, IPA is a type of beer. What are your thoughts on the tech market in 2024? Will hiring pick up, or the market is still saturated due to layoffs? I don't know if the market is saturated. I think there's a lot of unfilled positions. I think what happened during the layoffs, they laid off a lot of people who, the less qualified people, perhaps, shall we say. So the key to any market really is to keep upping your game and your skills, keep trying to get some experience. Once you get past your third year or so, then you're pretty much, you got red carpet for the rest of your life. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen in 2024. The economy, if it falls off a cliff, which is possible, it will slow down as typical. But this is this normal ebbs and flow of things, you know. Again, the key I talk about all the time, you make sure you save up money so you don't have to worry, you know, ultimately save up, 6 months to a year worth of cash. I would say these times when the market's uncertain, I'd say save up a year worth of cash and keep upping your skills, keep networking with people, keep making contacts with people. If you don't mind, if you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up so Google algorithm knows what's going on. Hello from Bolivia. It's my first here in your channel. Hey, Gabriela. Welcome to the streams. Cool. We have a community Discord also. Live long. Yeah, it's true. It's the Code Long and Prosper Discord. Yeah, link is below. What is there? 3,000 members in there. Did you see more articles on GPT failing grade 3 math? I haven't seen that. I have to look into it. I'm not sure what's going on there. Everybody laughs and says, I'm just playing on the computer. What should I do? Ignore them. Just keep working towards your goals. Don't get caught in tutorial hell. Once you have your basics, start trying to build things. Even if you don't understand everything, or nobody does, by the way. So just start building stuff, you know? Timothy Mark Brennan Jr. says, hello from Brazil. You have great content. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. Code Long and Profit. Yeah, there is the Code Long and Profit Discord below. There's a link below under this video. Steph, I will check out your freelance course. Thank you. No problem. If you have any questions, you know how to reach me. Which framework is better to scale, CodeIgniter 4 or Laravel? I haven't looked at CodeIgniter 4. The original version of Studioweb was on CodeIgniter, and then CodeIgniter, they basically shut it down. So then Laravel became the best. Laravel is kind of heavy. I heard Symfony, if I recall, might be better for scaling, but we have a lot of users on Studioweb, and we've never had a problem with scale. Most of the time, the scaling problem is not the framework, it's the database. It's how you configure your database, make sure they're properly indexed. So I wouldn't be considering frameworks based on scale unless you have already a project that is guaranteed to have tons and tons of volume. But I haven't looked at CodeIgniter 4 versus Laravel. I couldn't give you a straight answer there. I got your web book, Uncle Steph. It's looking good. Oh, cool. I appreciate that. I recommend the book because I know it's good. You can check out the reviews. I don't make money on the book now. They paid me a flat fee up front, and that was it. I tried to buy back the rights to the book, but they got back to me, and then they disappeared because I would like to self-publish it and maybe do some more with it, but it's a good book. So I'm not offering it to make money. I don't make money off it. So I just think it's a good book. So you may want to check it. It's several years old, but trust me, everything in there is 100% applicable today. Why? It's very simple. The fundamentals, which includes the basics and a lot more of the web stuff, hasn't changed since this book. Hasn't changed. All right. What's going on here? 35 minutes. Time flies. Watch your video. I watched your video, Top 10 Programming Rules by Uncle Steph 4 years ago. Currently native iOS engineer for about 4 years now. Gave me the boost I needed. Thank you, Uncle Steph. Hey, cool. Congratulations. I'm glad I could help. That's one of the reasons I still do the education, because I hear from people who use my stuff 1 year ago, 4 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. It's pretty crazy. When you hear from students who learned, hey, I learned how to code from you 18 years ago. I work at Google now. Thanks, Uncle Steph. I was like, oh, bye, I'm getting old. That's cool. I appreciate it. I'm glad I was able to help, man. Congratulations on that. Thank you, Steph. This was great for my morale. Contracting is how I've been doing it for 25 years. Very cool. Yeah. There's lots of opportunity. I did a video about a year or two ago on, 50 and broke, should you learn to code? I'm not saying you're broke, but, and I mapped out specifically the steps. It's on YouTube. 50 and broke, should you learn to code? I map out the steps, how within a few years, starting from scratch, you can find yourself, 3 to 5 years, you find yourself basically in a good position for retirement. So I provide the roadmap on how to do it. And something I did. I didn't do it at 50. I did it in my late 20s. But I figured it out, and I just applied the principles. And within a short period of time, I was able to semi-retire, for all intents and purposes at 30. I was like 31 or 32. And then after 10 years of getting coffee and going to brunch, I got bored, so I started some new businesses and stuff. So, yeah, that's cool. I'm glad I'm able to help. Check out that video. It's on my YouTube channel. Hey, Steph, I've always valued your input and support. Luckily, I made the switch to dev 2 years ago and work mainly Angular. Very cool. What are your thoughts on switching from web dev to embedded systems? I don't know. I would just look at the job market. I think... I would look up the job market, see if you like it. If you like that type of development, it's cool. I would guess doing embedded systems development, which is not my thing, but I would believe you would be working for companies, whereas web dev, you could be working for companies and you could be freelancing as well. So you might have more job flexibility with web dev, but you may have great opportunity in embedded systems. I don't know. But yeah, definitely. Why not? I don't have a particular type of development I think is, categorically, for lack of better words, I don't think there's any particular type of development that is better than anything else or anything is worse than anything else, except for Ruby development. You don't want to get into Ruby. That's terrible. It's just bad. That's a joke. Ruby's fine. I don't think any type of development is good or bad. Intrinsically, I think it really depends on what you want to do based on your personality. A lot of it has to do with your personality and how you like to live. Now, here's a bit of advice about career. Don't imagine the type of career that you want. That's too broad. What you want to do is this is an exercise I came up with way back in the day. I said to myself one morning, I said, how do I like to spend my days? Do I like to wake up early? Do I like to put on a suit? Do I want to go into work? Do I want to deal with a bunch of people? Do I want to work on projects that may take 2-3 years to develop and launch these big projects? That's one type of job, right? It suggests one type of career choice. On the other hand, do you want to work on different projects, constantly changing, learning new technologies on the fly? Is that more interesting to you? That suggests a different type of job, work environment. Do you want to travel? Do you want to go live and work in different cities, perhaps, or different countries? That suggests, again, a different type of technology stack that you might pursue. So think about how you like to spend your days, Do you want, when, you work from at 5 o'clock or at 6 o'clock. When you're done, you're done. You don't have to worry about it. That's it. You go home and you don't have to worry about work. If you want that suggests a certain type of career path, right? So think about not so much the language, but think about, or the tech stack, think about how you like to spend your days. That is going to have a huge role in terms of whether you enjoy your work or not. I hope that makes sense. How must we attach our portfolio project source code or deployed ready to use? I'm not sure if I understand your question. You should have a website if you're doing web dev, especially. And in that website, you should be able to display all your, if you have a GitHub account, have a link to that. Have projects that you build, demoed, you know. I've made about 10,000 total in the last 15 years in web development, only with people coming up to me, asking me to do work for them. I haven't put myself out there at all. So there you go. If you start setting up the business, your freelance business, imagine what can happen, right? So you've done nothing to set yourself up, as you tell me, but people just come up to you. So imagine if you actually structured a business, did a little bit of web marketing, a little bit of SEO, a little social marketing, start letting people know, you'd probably have a viable business. Hope all is blessed with you. Got my first freelance gig to build a website. Congratulations, good stuff. What tips do you have in regards to designing a page, e.g. looking at sample templates, etc.? Well, that's a broad question. I'll give you a short version of the answer. What you got to do is you got to, if you're design challenged, or even if you aren't, present your client with 3 templates that align with their business. So if they have a wedding business, find wedding theme template and say, here's a style 1, here's style 2, here's style 3. Always give your client 3 options, no more, no less. If you give them more options, they'll never be able to make a decision. You give them more, they may feel constrained. You give them 3 options and you lead them down that path. I talk about that in my freelance course. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, definitely look at template sites for ideas in terms of what those sites should look like. Be sure that you manage the project properly up front. If this is your first gig, I would suggest getting my freelance course. It's going to teach you a lot and it's going to save you a lot of headaches. Finished my HTML5, working on CSS now. So far, so good. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Oh, there you go. Congrats. Dude, it's 4 a.m. in Europe. Please consider our time zone too. I did an earlier stream, dude. I did a stream specifically for the Eurozone and Africa and Asia. You can go watch the replay. But I understand. Do you think it's a good thing to expand your skills, set different areas early in your career rather than focus one area, just front end? I would dabble around. If you have a job, I would start dabbling around. See where in the current place that you work or in the current environment you happen to be, what skills that might complement your current job. That's what I would do. Okay, so he says, and everyone seems very happy with websites that I have built for them using WordPress, but now I really need the money and haven't done anything for a while and I'm extremely rusty. Well, just jump back into it, man. Just jump back into it. You're able to earn 10,000. That means you can earn $500,000. You know, so just jump back into it. Set up your website. Make sure it looks good. If those sites are still up, if you reach out to if they're small business owners and say, yeah, I'm doing this now. I'm serious full time. I'm even better now. If you're rusty, just jump into it. Start building stuff. It will come back to you. What's your opinion? Is it too late to learn back-end programming in my 53 years of life? I started specifically with PHP and SQL. I have some basic knowledge of HTML, CSS. No, not at all, Dragon. I would suggest that you check out my video. You can find it on YouTube, 50 and Broke, was it 50 and broke, two, should I learn to code? I think that's what it is. 50 and broke, should I learn to code? And I go over all this and I give you some roadmaps and paths for you, you know? He says, finally, and now I'm hoping to start this up for real. I have a $1,000 contract to do a website to start, but hope to keep it up. Hey, congrats. See there, you already got another contract. Just start. I would strongly suggest, if you're not sure about it, get my freelance course. We'll teach you how to run these projects and just start building the business seriously. And you're going to see a lot of contracts will start rolling in. And if you structure things properly, you'll be able to make a lot of money quickly. Where can I learn about Kibana and JSON basics with zero knowledge? I don't know Kibana. JSON, just go to ChatGPT. Hey, tell me about JSON. Go to YouTube. JSON basics. When you learn anything new, I learned this a long time ago, 30 years ago, from a friend of mine who was a very advanced developer, worked at Apple, worked on Microsoft, Windows, Core. He said, if you want to learn anything new, just stick to the fundamentals, stick to the basics, stick to the basics. So get a basic tutorial on JSON, get a basic book or tutorial or on Kibana. Don't make the mistake of trying to jump to the advanced stuff. Get to the basics. I assume if you know your HTML, your CSS, and JavaScript, if you want to get into JSON, I assume you know a bit of the basics about the web. Yeah. Hope that helps. All right, how are we doing here? All right, I'm going to be closing up this stream soon. Thanks for all the thumbs, guys. I appreciate it. Tells the Google algorithm. Yeah. Hey, Steph, some tips for automatic documents with Java. Career paths for 2 years experience. I'm not sure what you mean by automatic documents with Java, Ronnie. Please expand on that. Hey, Steph, your content helped me land my first dev role 7 months ago. Much appreciated, good sir. Hey, Raz, congratulations. You see, when you come on my streams, people see that more and more people, when they follow my advice, they do my training, they get jobs, they get courses, they get contracts. Well, I've been doing this since 1994 as a commercial developer. I'm trying to sleep, guys. Why now? The lies, arg. Well, you can just go watch the replay, dude. I will keep it on. You'll be able to watch the replay. Can you talk about Wix-type platforms versus actual web development, pros and cons, why web developers are still needed? Well, because these platforms, though can be powerful, they have their limits. Yeah. Some big news actually coming out in terms of these platforms. I won't talk about it today, but some big news there. Don't look at these platforms as things to be worried about. They're not competing. They're just tools to leverage. Think of them as power tools. You could saw by hand, or you can go whoosh. But they're not replacing developers. It's just something to use. So don't worry about it. Hi, Steph. I've developed as a solo entrepreneur a very niche SaaS. Hey, congratulations. That's always satisfying. I'm a little worried about managing many clients. For this reason, I'm procrastinating on reaching other customers. Any suggestions? Go for the clients, man. Go for the clients. As you onboard clients, just make sure you onboard your current clients and they're managed well before you start trying to onboard new clients. If you have no problem finding clients, that's a great position to be in, by the way. But just make sure you onboard clients properly, map it out, make sure, keep track how long it takes to onboard a client. And so this way you have a framework there. So yeah, that's great. But I think I answered the question. Is it a good idea to get a job with a company in order to learn for a year or two before going freelance? Not necessary. Not necessary. You don't have to. You can go freelance right away. Whether you've worked for somebody or not, the company that would hire you as a freelancer does not care at all. Does not care at all. Strong portfolio is all that matters. Appreciate the thumbs up, guys. Thank you. Tells the Google algo that you like this type of content. Need help on selling SaaS software? I feel like doing monthly fee service. Yeah, I'm not sure what the question is. I just got fired from the company I was working for about a month. They said I didn't attend their expectations. I was too slow, but I had no one to help me getting through all their messy code. That can happen, but don't worry about it, man. Junior, that's part of the game. Just learn from it. Just keep, what I would do, I would set up that website of your own. Just go out there and do gigs, get faster. Who cares? People will change many jobs in their career. The good thing is you got that first job. And the good thing is they told you where you were too slow. If you can contact them and say, where was I slow? And work on that. Don't bother them. Just work on that and start applying to other jobs. Don't worry, it will come. But you just got to keep writing code. Keep writing code. You get better and better at it as you write more and more code. So I wouldn't be too concerned. So, yeah, don't worry, man. Now I'm relying on my freelance project. At least I'm going to have less headaches. There you go. That's the good attitude. It's like professional experience, getting jobs, applying for jobs, like dating. You're going to get rejected. Who cares? Go up. Hey, you want to go out? No. All right, next. And that's it. No big deal. You should do my Lizard Wizard course, but you already have a good attitude, so I think you'll be fine. Check out the links below. Teach you how to manage your brain. What's that expression? A brave man dies only once. A coward dies 1,000 deaths. That's a good, yeah. Mr. Mel, excuse me. Hey, Uncle Steph, first time I've managed to catch you on a live. I always miss them, but with my busy schedule, but I make sure to always find time to watch the playback. Very cool. Well, I appreciate you watching, Mr. Mel. I'm glad you find them useful. How are we doing here? Whoa, almost an hour. How does learning programming affect cognitive functions and the brain in general? Good question. I've covered it, but I'll give you some. Does it process, reshape neural pathways, make it easier for us to grasp new concepts in that world? Yes. 100%. One of the great things about learning to code is going to teach you how to think in a different way that most people don't think in that way. And it's going to create new neural connections. And overall, it will improve your brain function. And it will allow you to discern reality in a more accurate way. And it will help stave off dementia and garbage like that in time. It will make your brain more powerful. It's just kind of like people who do different types of exercises. You do weight training, you do free weights, you do cross training, you do a little cardio, you do different types of exercises. This makes your body stronger overall. So that's learning to code. Like if you're older and you're worried about dementia or stuff, or your brain degenerating over time, learn to code. It's the best way, but also experience new things. Do stuff you've never done before. I have a background in psych. I'm not a psychologist, but that was my major in university. If you do new things, so if you're always programming in one language, learn a new language. It's going to give you insight in the old language. If you've never gone swimming before, go learn to swim. If you've never played tennis before, go play tennis. If you've never been in the desert, go to the desert. If you've never been in a cold climate, go to the cold climate. All these things are going to stimulate your body and brain, and it will create new neural pathways, which will make you more capable. I think I got a super chat. Hold on. Let me see. All right, here we go. Thank you. I appreciate the super chat. When are you starting Coders in Cars? Pick me up. Soon. I'll be heading on the road in November, mid to late November. And once I get down there, I will let you know what's going to happen with that. I'm not sure how my how that's going to work out. But yeah, I've already have things in motion. So yeah. Fernando Diaz says, thanks for awesome content, by the way. Hey, no problem. Appreciate it. Did I get everybody? Working on personal projects has helped me so much at work and for client projects. Hey, very good. Yeah. You know, what I did years ago, I said, you know what? When I wanted to explore a new technology, I didn't do tutorials. Once I had my basics, no more tutorials, trying to build stuff. And I would just start building things. I want to build this type of thing. I want to build that type of thing. I want to build this type of thing. So start building software or projects that's just interesting for you on your own. And that's going to really, when you build something from A to Z, when you finish something, it has a huge impact in terms of your understanding of things and your capabilities and your confidence. I used to be one of the nerds, like Friday night, people would be out going to play pool or something, and I'd be, I'll be there in a few hours. I'm working on something here, and I'd be writing code, and then 3 hours, and then I realized, oh my God, it's 3 a.m, and I'd miss going out, but I had a great time writing the code. You can't lose learning to code. You can't lose. There's so many opportunities it opens up. Any advice on squeezing in some freelance gigs while in a 9 to 5 role, Shopify full stack web dev? Yeah, well, get that website up and then start taking on little projects, that you can do on the weekend or at night, and start small. Track the time it takes you to do things. You got to track calls and you got to track emails and just slowly build that up, That's the advice, Talk to people casually. Since you have a full-time job, you have the advantage where you can take your time. Just mention to, small business owners you may know, hey, if you never need some coding done, I'm looking to do little side gigs here and there, and you'll find people. All right. Did I get everybody? How is it? All right, let's scroll down. I'm only at the beginning level learning programming, and I found your channel a while back. Just want to say, keep up the great work. It's inspiring. Hey, I'm glad, Mr. Fresh Ear Beats. I'm glad I could help. Thanks for watching. Jose, hey, Stefan, I was seeing your freelance course. How long is it? Is it still updated? Everything in that freelance course is evergreen, so don't worry about that. Yeah, you don't need update. It's I update anything I have when I need to. So don't worry about that. If there's something outdated, I strip about and I fix that. So it's fine. Lastly, is that knowledge applicable to people in other countries? Yeah, freelancing is the rules of business are universal pretty much. I'm in St. Leonard, probably close to you. Yeah, I'm downtown, man. I live downtown, and I used to actually live at the Olympic Village near St. Leonard. In fact, as a kid, I used to spend a lot of time in St. Leonard. I had a lot of friends who lived there and biked around there quite a bit. Les Galeries d'Anjou. Joseph says, where are you heading in November? I'm not exactly sure. I'm going to be in Georgia at one point. I'm spending a lot of time in different parts of Florida. I got a lot of family and friends in Florida. So I'm going to be in Florida. I'm going to be in Delray Beach for a while. And who knows where else the road will take me. I'm not exactly sure. But Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Florida. I'm almost finished my career in engineer of software. I need to do my degree project. Any topic or idea, can you help me, please? Well, I don't know. It's hard to say. I would perhaps, here's an idea. I would build a, see how you can integrate chatbot services with a website. That might be a project. Now, you might be able to drill down deeper than that. AI is all big nowadays, so that'd be a way of doing it. I'm doing the same thing right now on Friday night. I love coding, laugh out loud. There you go. Jose says, how's your health these days? Much better. That's why I'm doing the live. I'm pretty much back to my normal self. All right. I'll answer one or two more questions. I'm going to head out. Hey, Stefan, what do you think of getting certification for MySQL? Good for developers to have. Love your PHP and Laravel content. I don't think you need a certification there. So I wouldn't be too concerned about that. All right. Hi, Uncle Steph. Have you done tech talks? Yes, I've done a few. I've been invited to do a couple of conferences this year. I'm not sure if I will have the time. I've been invited to do one at a conference, but I don't feel too confident. Just do it. Oscar, do it because it's good experience. Even if you mess up, at the end of the day, when the conference is over, even 5 minutes after your speech, even if it doesn't go well, nobody will care. So do it. It's good experience. Develop some new brain connections. A lot of great places to eat and drink in Delray Beach. Yes, I've been there once, and I have a place I rented right near Atlantic Avenue, in fact. So how do you communicate to the client that you work full time? They always assume I won't have enough time to go elsewhere. Well, just evaluate it based on the project, and you say, listen, this project is going to take me X amount of hours. It will take me X amount of weeks to do it. And that's it. And there you go. You don't have to speak about, don't even bring it up. Don't say, hey, I work full time, by the way. Just say, listen, I'm going to do, I have time for this. I have time. Let's look at your project. Okay, it's going to take, you calculate it's going to take me 20 hours to do. I can do 5 hours a week. Say it's going to take me 30 days to get it done. And he may say, that's too slow, okay. You look at it that way. That's how you structure that. All right, guys. It's been an hour. The voice is going to get weak. Thanks for joining the stream. I appreciate the thumbs up everybody gave it. If you missed the beginning, I will leave this video up for a replay. I hope the sound quality was good enough. I hope the video was clear. Let me know. And cheers. Code long and profit, everybody. Check out the links below for my Discord server. It's cool. Check out my courses, links below. If you want to get links to my book, Naked Ape, or refactoring, links below. Also my freelance as well. That's about it. Also, if you look, I think it's over 2,000 videos now that are public on YouTube alone. So you may want to check that out. There's tons and tons of videos. Very few videos of me pushing cats into water or me doing challenges or anything. It's all packed with information. So you can check that out. Good video quality, good sound quality. Cool. Appreciate the feedback. Thanks a lot, Steph. You always answer me attentively. That's cool, man. Thanks again. Cheers. Cheers, guys. Thanks for joining the stream. I'll leave you with this video I took from Cape Elizabeth in Maine, USA. Nice place. Nice place. Cheers, guys.